Hello, I'm Aletha MacArthur, Teacher Specialist at New Growth Family Center here in Mount Forest. And today I'm here to share with you about time management basics for homes and classrooms. The habits of managing time can be established early and easily with young children. It's more difficult in later years, and as we all know as adults, there are two extremes, either having too much time on one's hands with too little to do, or there's not enough time to get everything done in a day. So today what I'd like to do is share with you some early habits to establish in young children. They can also be added to adjust habits with older children and hopefully to avoid the time management problems that can overtake any one of us as adults in our lives and in our careers. Just before we get into the details, I'd like to share that some of the time vocabulary has gotten a really negative rap. They're very negative words now, and I'd like to introduce them to you in a new way with the true meaning involved. Words like routine, structure, words like schedule and plan, calendar and clock or watch, timetable, agenda. If you could take those words and let me reintroduce them to you in a new way today, so almost like a clean slate. And just as we begin, I'd like to say that what I'm going to talk about is flexible routines, not rigid structure, anchors, not cement shoes, time frames, not curfews, time slots, not time restraints. And we're looking at time being well used for choices and to value our time rather than waste time with boredom and doing nothing. Too much time in a young child's life produces boredom and reactive behavior. Things like wandering, looking for things, and we all know that children who are looking for things usually end up looking for trouble and always finding it. A friend of mine talks about a time when he was young and on rainy days with nothing to do on the farm, he would just go through the drawers and the junk drawers and just take stuff out and take them apart. It's kind of humorous that some of the things that he did got him into some trouble, but later he became an electronics technician, and so it did serve him well the way he used that time. Too little time to get anything done produces stress and pressure and behavior like avoidance, refusal, rebellion, giving up. So either of those two extremes in a home or in a classroom can cause behavior reactions in children, and they can carry on through life. Within that flexible plan, called a timetable, would be to provide appropriate choices for activities, for certain set routines that are required, lunch times, break times, subjects that need to be plugged into those times. Within that flexible plan, called a timetable, would be to provide appropriate choices for activities, for certain set routines that are required, lunch times, break times, subjects that need to be plugged into those times. This kind of planning of listing choices builds in the ability for children to grow into adults who are able to use their time wisely, to make healthy, wise choices, to use their time to the best possible way. And as responsibilities grow, they feel freer, not constricted, because it is their choice, and they have many choices that are good for them to choose from. The next is to make a list of have-tos, and this is the hard part, but the adult needs to take charge of this one. It means setting aside and pinpointing responsibilities, times to get up in the morning, things to do in the morning. That includes self-care, personal hygiene, nutrition, all the things that a family needs to do in order to get ready in the day. In a classroom, it would be the subjects. It would be study periods. It would be learning opportunities. It would be all of those things that are requirements. And those are slotted into the timetable plan along with the choice times. I know that in a classroom, certain times are regulated more often, but there are still opportunities that after a 40-minute study session, there is room for a 10-minute choice break, and just a relaxed break in between. It's important to know that flexible time is crucial to good mental health. Those people who get so caught up with time and using every minute and feeling under pressure and stressed, those are the people who haven't learned to take flexible time. Short periods of break and relaxation in between extended work periods or periods of focusing can make a difference in one's whole outlook and one's whole productivity. And so to establish that early with children is to establish that habit that they don't even have to think about it. We have a generation of people who sometimes expect breaks before there's any work done. So that's why the previous idea to list the have-tos is a priority before the flex time. There is also a destructive trend today, and that is that doing nothing, being allowed to just flow freely. I was raised in the generation where we had routines. Monday was wash day, Tuesday was ironing day, Friday was shopping day. It wasn't rigid, but there were certain routines, and many households in our neighborhood did all the same things. I've also lived through the time where we were just feeling free and let anything go and just do whatever you feel like doing whenever you feel like it. There are two extremes to that. And I truly believe that we need a combination of routine and predictability and structure in our lives, and also freedom to choose and be flexible. We can teach that to children early in their lives, and we can model it for them. The physical energy needs to be harnessed and also utilized. So these breaks can serve to do that. Physical breaks, phys ed class, just walks outside. I've observed that a destructive trend, and that is that active minds with no direction are looking for some excitement, and that active bodies that need to be moving and expend some of the energy start doing so destructively as well. So that leads to behavior issues in a classroom, but we need to always look at the underlying needs, because they are the children and we are the adults, and we're the ones who are providing the environment and the support and the teaching for their life. Built-in periods for relaxation are important to slot in to every day. Flexible routines are important at any stage in life. They act as an anchor throughout the day. Just like an anchor holds a ship in place but doesn't drag it down under the water, so do certain routines throughout the day bring a person's life back to a stable place and a place to move from into the next slot of time. The word itself, routine, has a negative connotation, and I see people cringe when I use it. But if you could clear your mind of that negative meaning and see it as an anchor instead of cement shoes, then perhaps that'll remind you that a routine is so important. Having certain things to do, places to be, someone to be with throughout the day is extremely important. And with children, that routine needs to be connected with a relationship with a trusted adult. In the home, it would mean in the morning with an adult before they head out the door to wherever they're off to. It's to review the day and just to have a positive interaction and communication and a plan in mind before they leave. In a classroom, it's meeting together to plan for the day, to greet each other, and to find out if there are any needs or issues that need to be dealt with, just to start the day on a solid note. When life is a little more planned, with more routines and flex time built in, it's more predictable. And one of the problems in schools today is transition time problems. Basically what that means is children have trouble shifting their mindset from one thing to another, shifting their energy from one activity to another, having things thrown in the middle of a day that they weren't expecting, like a test or an opportunity for an extra gym period. If anyone has ever been in a school after a practice fire drill, you'll know that it takes quite a while, even hours, even till the next day, to settle down again back into the routine and the calm of the school. If the thought of setting up a daily routine with your child at home before they leave for school and when they come home in the evening, if you're a teacher and the thought of setting up a plan first thing in the morning with your students or several times throughout the day sounds like it's too much work, I can give you many, many examples of how much work it will be later during adolescence and teen years. It's certainly worth the time it takes, and I work with that with the high need students that I work here at our family center. I've had instances where these students think of the word plan and they groan and grimace and they refuse to come to the table at the beginning. But as I explain to them, by having a basic plan with routines and building in choices for yourself, you become independent and more free and not being told what to do all the time. So eventually they come around and automatically start putting on their plan. Keeping a family calendar or a classroom calendar is an important part of time management basics. Noting it, recording it, posting it so it's visible with the children in the home or the children in the classroom involved starts a habit for life. If it's one person keeping track of time, and in a home it's usually the mother, if appointments are missed, if activities are forgotten, or if the equipment is not ready for the final game, one person then is blamed. But if the whole family's involved or the whole classroom's involved, then it's a shared responsibility, and those young people automatically grow up with that habit of keeping track of time. I find that the idea for agendas is a good one, but I see too many that are destroyed and torn up and pages gone. They're feared by parents, and they're a lot of work for teachers. My opinion is that it's just too much to have a whole year to carry around in one book. So here we use 1 week at a time. Mondays is our planning, and then we look at the whole month to record events that are coming up, to record things that have happened, and special things that we're looking forward to. And those calendars actually act as a history, and looking back over the time that young people can see that they have accomplished many things. These are just a few proven ideas that I'm sharing with you today. If you have any questions or would like more information, please contact us at New Growth Family Center